The long road to the truth takes us to the record of another trial. In some ways, that was the standpoint of it all. And that is where we must go. To find the whole truth. Showdown time. I lost. It's only a game of poker. Game I've played for a long time and only lost twice. He was the first man I killed, of course. Well, seems I found the partner I've been looking for all along. Oh, over a game of cards? Why, yes, over a game of cards. That was how we first met, 7 years ago. "7 years earlier, Phoenix Wright's final trial. April 19th, 9:27 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 2. Okay, it's been a long time since I felt like such a rookie. Gotta try and relax. Good morning, Mr. Nigma. I'm sorry that I was sprung this on you so suddenly. I received the files from your previous attorney only yesterday. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure I'm prepared. I understand I'm asking the impossible of you. Yes, well, you already told me what happened. All we did was play cards. And that was enough. Actually, it wasn't. Trust me. I'm so glad you came. I'm fine as always. This old boy said help me out. That's young man to you. Good morning. That's a cute outfit you have on. Oh, I'm sure it is. What are you talking about? Huh? Me? Look what he started. What's this? What's this? Manual for you or some such? Nothing look at it. What is this? Looks like a page from someone's diary. I'll give it a go. How do you feel about the trial, mate? We'll get through it, somehow. Incidentally, the prosecutor today is a new guy here. An easy win, yeah. They call him a true thoroughbred in the history of the prosecutors. Of course, there's one of those every year. Creation of attorney just before the trial. I know it's a difficult situation to put you. But allow me to say one thing, Mr. Wright. Yes? They will not be able to pronounce me guilty today. So do your best, but do not worry. First my defendants have given me a pep speech. I'll do what I can. Today I do not understand. They say it would be impossible for them to declare a verdict. Impossible? Yeah, and I've had you. The first look at the case was only yesterday. The information I was given was a tad bit lacking to be honest. Still, I'll do what I can for their sake. I believe the curtains will be lifting any time now. In your capable hands, Mr. Wright. My client is Shady Nigma, known to the world as Zach Grammy, wildly popular magician, star of the troupe Grammy. His mentor, Magnifique Grammy, was a rare breed of magician. He single-handedly ushered in a golden age of stage magic until he was shot dead. And Zach Grammy is a suspect. Court is now in session for the trial of Shady Enigma. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Is the prosecution ready? I was just thinking, is this what all the fuss is about? Bit of a buzzkill, really. Buzzkill? Is this some new kind of crime? One of the worst. Is this a trial, yeah? Where are the sweaty palms, the pounding heartbeats? And Gaviner's concerts got 10 times the thrill this gig's got. You? Where were you again? Clavier Gavin. I came to get the party started. Legally, yeah? Gavin? Defense attorney Christoph Gavin's... he is my brother's more famous than this part of town. Clavier Gavin. Lead singer for the mega hit band, the Gaviners. You're out of your league, rock boy. I know what you're thinking. You're out of your league, rock boy. True, my debut single, 13 Years Hard Time for Love, went platinum overnight. But that's just a hobby to me compared to this, yeah? Talkative, aren't you? I like your affected Euro rock accent, by the way. Just getting warmed up. Hair attorney White, right? Perhaps you would be so kind as to fill us in on the case. Actung, baby. Time to call on the opening act. What was his name again? Yes, Detective Gumshoe. He did. And you are? Hey, you're the one who called me up here, sir. Name's Dick Gumshoe. I'm a homicide detective down at the precinct. Detective Gumshoe, long time no see. Hey, you! Huh? Me? Today's the day, pal. Today I win and you lose. Got confidence in my testimony today, see? What, you know me? What, you know me lack confidence in your testimony? Detective, this is my stage. And the antics. Huh? All this hey-youing and such. And I could care less about your history together. Very well, Detective Gumshoe, if you would. Please tell us about the case at hand. Happened 6 days ago. Happened 6 days back in the room at the general hospital. Facts are as simple as they come. Here's a crime scene. The victim was a patient asleep in the hospital bed. The killer comes in, puts a pistol to his forehead, and bam, lights up. And them's the facts. Not so long ago, the victim, Magnific Grammy, was a famous man. He had the entire country under his magical spell, as it were. Ah yes, the great magician. He retired years ago. Say, the name Magnifique to one of my generation, and you'd be lucky to get a blank stare. Yes, I'm sure the youngsters today know his disciples even better. I dare say Troop Grammys made quite a name for themselves. Anyhow, the retired Magnifique's been in the hospital for the last year. What was it? A malignant tumor or something? A malignant tumor. Yep. A malignant tumor, perhaps? In other words, he had liver cancer. He had only 3 months left to live, in fact. Facts do seem simple enough, but something's not right. The victim was already climbing a 3-month stairway to heaven. Why not wait for him to knock on heaven's door? Why shooting? I wanna put it quite so lyrically, but it's true. Why make the effort to commit murder when the victim was about to die? Incidentally, the victim had a serious case of diabetes. Diabetes? In fact, he was about to shoot up with insulin when he was shot with a pistol. The syringe was found at the crime scene. Chronic diabetes and cancer. As much as it pains me to say it, the victim was clearly at the end of his life. I believe the question before us is clear then. Why did the killer have to shoot this dying man? What reason could he have had? Very well, Detective. Perhaps you can enlighten us as to the circumstances of the shooting? Yes, sir. That's a blast from the past. The music from the first Ace Attorney game playing in the last trial. A few days before it happened, the victim sent a letter ordering his own murder. The defendant did what was asked of him and shot the old man in the forehead. Murder was fired from the pistol found at the scene, no doubt about it. And the pistol definitely belonged to the old man, sir. What? You're saying the victim ordered his own shooting? No, sir, the facts I have here the letter in question. Magnifi's letter added to the court record. Very unusual indeed. Although could such a thing as a letter really correspond to Paul Trigger, I wonder. I believe the answer to that question can be found at the end of the letter. One thing bothers me about this. Why didn't he just say 11? Why have him come at 11:05 without some specific reason? The devil is in the details, Herr Attorney. Well, was there some reason? As it turns out, there was. Every night by half hour, starting at 11, the victim, Magnifique Remy, was given an IV. An IV? There it is in the picture off to the side of the bed. At 11 o'clock, a doctor would come to set up the IV. 30 minutes later, he would come back with the empty bag. This happened every night without fail. So that was the only time Link could meet without the chance of an untimely interruption during his IV. Very well, shall we begin? Mr. Wright, your cross-examination, if you would. What's this reason he couldn't refuse, I wonder? He could have at least mentioned it to me.
Hold it!
And this letter was sent by the victim? There it is, gotcha. You're mine this time, pal. I had that line checked out, of course. It's the victim's no mistake. Ah, I see. Let's go, one for the boys. Even though I'm never going to be in the games after this. I didn't lose, I was just ascertaining the facts. So why am I so annoyed? But a letter ordering your own death? Things aren't what they used to be, I guess. Not sure this is exactly commonplace, even now though. So anyway, I guess I'll keep going on my head. How can you be so sure? Hey, you gotta learn to stop relying on people to do your thinking for you, pal. Learn to think for yourself. Get that noggin cranking. You fail to grasp the concept of questioning, detective. First, we got this letter. It says shoot in the forehead, loud and clear. I can see that, but I still wouldn't do it. Well, maybe you need to grow yourself a backbone, pal. You fail to grasp the concept of shooting people is bad, detective. We also found the defendant's pistol at the scene. Traces of gunpowder residue show that it had been fired recently. Well, Mr. Wright, as far as I can tell from looking at this photo, there seems to be no issue with the prosecution's claim. The photo. Maybe there's something in there I can use. So they're saying the defendant shot the victim in the forehead. And there's a hole in the prosecution's argument. Clearly, Mr. Enigma try something else. Looking at this photo, another possibility occurs to me. Yes? What does the letter tell us? That the defendant had a reason he couldn't refuse his teacher's wishes. Bingo, pal. That's why the defendant popped him one in the forehead. Oh, the defense disagrees. You see, the defendant had another choice he could make.
Objection!
What? And you can prove that with this photo? I can prove the other choice, yes. The clown.
Take that!
The clown doll. Take a closer look. See? It's been shot in the forehead too. Oh, there's a hole in the forehead. Yes, and a hole in the prosecution's claim.
Objection!
And I suppose you have a reason as to why he shoot the clown doll. He didn't just shoot the doll, he shot the doll's forehead. His forehead? Ah! Let's read the orders once more, shall we? You will shoot one shot square in the forehead. Which is exactly what he did. He shot the clown doll square in the forehead. The defense has raised an intriguing possibility. That hole in the clown's forehead. It definitely looks like it was shot. Bailiff, send someone to investigate this matter. I admit I'm impressed, but I expected it. Still, this doesn't mean he didn't shoot. Perhaps he did have to shoot a forehead, as ordered. But that says nothing about whose forehead. This was the only way he'd have to follow his orders without taking a life. The bullet hole in the clown doll's forehead does demand an explanation. Might very well be a clue, yet Prosecutor Gavin is right. It alone does not prove the defendant's innocence. We cannot say for sure the defendant didn't shoot the victim. So sorry, Mr. Wright. How sad it is to see the mighty fall. How sad it is to see Norris's overconfidence. He doesn't realize just how big this little hole is going to get. Detective Gumshoe, please take this newfound fact into account as you continue testimony. So what if you shot the clown? You still shot the victim, pal.
Objection!
Your Honor, what do you think of the witness's statement?
Hold it!
Why are you so certain? Up by the sound of your head been stuck in this all this time, pal. You never heard of Zack and Valance grow quick draw shoot 'em? Huh? What's that? One of the defendant's specialties. Zack and Valance stand on either side of a girl. Then they shoot, but the bullets don't hit her. Then they hit everyone else on stage. Kind of funny how the only difference between here and in the present day in 7 years is the fact he's got a grey moustache. Good Grammy stopped doing that after a while ago. The old man held on to that pistol ever since.
Hold it!
There we go. Keyword now, 1 round. So any fingerprints found on the gun? Unfortunately, no. Of course, the defendant is known for wearing gloves. You might say that the lack of fingerprints is in fact the fingerprint of its own. Aha! Intriguing point well made. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Not well made. Not intriguing. In any case, the court accepts this evidence. My grandchild will get a kick out of seeing this, but now it's time to return to our testimony. Okay, now I've got the evidence.
Objection!
The trickiest cases often seem the simplest. Prosecutor Gavin, you missed a bullet hole in the clown's forehead. If you hadn't missed that, you might have come to a very different conclusion. Understand? Yeah, but like I just said, pal, when he shot the clown in the forehead, he went...
Objection!
No. Did nothing of the sort to the victim. The pistol proves he could not. The murder weapon? How? It's quite simple, Your Honour. This pistol only holds one bullet at a time. If he had shot the clown in the forehead, he couldn't have shot the victim too.
Objection!
That's not a contradiction, not even close. All he had to do was reload the pistol after the first. Oh? Where'd you get the extra bullet? They're not so easy to come by, you know. You claim the defendant had one ready, and prove to us how he got it. I had a feeling this wasn't over yet. No, this party is just getting started. I haven't proven anything yet beyond my good looks. I know it's a lack of humility. What's this? Seems that the prosecution has another witness prepared. Like I said, her detective was just a warm-up act. Ugh. Now that the audience has gotten a taste of what's to come, they're ready. Ready for what? Very well. We will pause for 15 minutes recess. This might be my lucky break. I'll need that 15 minutes to talk my client Zach. Court is adjourned. Yes. April 19, 11:21 a.m. District Court. Very impressive, Mr. Ryan, I have to say. Expected nothing less. You've only just begun. I was hoping you could tell me a bit more about what happened, actually. Did not think you'd believe me if I told you. Glad that you discovered the truth for yourself. I was thinking of you, you know. I think we need less thinking and more talking. That night in the hospital, what really happened? Ah, the way your eyes gleam, Mr. Wright. You're scared. Speaking of which, where is she? You have seen the problem yourself, the letter. The one shot in the forehead. One, right? Yeah, and the reason he speaks of, I could not deny my mental vision, even if I'm in my own day. Why not? This is something I will not say for now, please. What's this for now business? I have done many things in my life, somewhere, some important. But this is a class we must bear our own victims. We? You ought to know about that amusement. Fine, this guy sure likes to take his time getting to the important stuff. Of course I had no intention of shooting my man. Looking in his room that night at the point in time. Found out on his bedside table 2 pistols. 2? Yes, the one I'd used on stage. And the one that had been used by my partner Val. Oh, for the Zach and Valence quick draw thing. My man hadn't looked a while asleep. Stood by his bedside, hearing only the light sound of his breathing. Then I took the pistol in my hand, and not deny that my resolve faltered then for a moment. You faltered? You mean you thought about shooting him? Of course, that was the reason I could not refuse his request. His last request, and not his first. So, no other request you couldn't refuse before? To be honest, I've not always been steadfast, and I fear I brought pain upon you. Was Magnifique coercing his disciples somehow? Just what was going on in the Troop Granary? In the end, I did not shoot him. Instead, I turned and shot the clown, took the pistol I fired and placed it in my pocket. In your pocket. I believe if you examine the bullet in the clown's head, you'll find it to be different from the one in my mantle. No, what was it called? Rifling marks? Yeah, well, that's all I have to tell you concerning the case. Concerning the case? You mean there's something else you can tell me? You're a fascinating man, Mr. Wright. Thanks? Yes, there's something. Our man, his eyes opened. What? Magnific Granary? The old devil, he was not asleep, you see. Of course, the gunshot would have woken him anyway. And now we're at our last discussion as men on people. Not a long discussion. Maybe 5-10 minutes or so. What did you talk about? Mr. Ryan, did I not just tell you? It does not concern this case. Zack Granary, he seems pretty steadfast to me, or maybe just stubborn. Mr. Wright, your presence is requested in the courtroom. Once again, I'm in your hands. Right, let's get back in there. April 19th, 11:37 AM. The court is now back in session. During our recess, a bullet was found in and dug out of the clown's head. Well, this is news, and the rifling marks, there wasn't time to do a detailed analysis. Though they did find the weapon type matches the murder weapon. Well, that's not very conclusive, is it? Which is what I'm about to call my very decisive. Your decisive witness. How many times have I heard those words? Well, they often turn out to be far less decisive than you think. Oh, don't worry on my account. I'm quite confident this witness will do the job. After all, he is intimately acquainted with the players in our little production, being the other half of Troop Granary's famous duo, Zack and Valent. Valent Granary. So, we get to meet the great magnifies of a disciple. Perhaps we'll start by asking your name and occupation? Valent Granary, magician. Yeah, maybe I am, who's to say? And you're the decisive witness, are you? You can prove your fellow student, your partner's guilt. Fate, the grand illusion, the elder traps and tricks. Wait, the shooting took place in that hospital after 11 o'clock at night. You're a witness. Does that mean you were out late? Well, one were to deduce this logically, the conclusion is yes. Okay. I always get the characters, don't I? I have an interesting fact for you. You see, several days before the crime, my witness received news. That looks very familiar. Wait. That's the same letter Zack Granary received. Yeah, so perhaps I should say ta-da. Or to say? Order, order, order! And what does it say? Surely not the same thing. Perhaps you should see for yourself. Or to say? This is most unusual. Exactly what's going on with you folks? What exactly was your Troop Granary up to? By which you mean... Just having trouble envisioning a man who would ask his students to kill him. Both of them knew that. Just my opinion, Herr Judge, but from these letters, I'd say he was coercing them, not asking them. We walked the magician's path together, and in so doing, shared much of our lives. And people are so close to strange. A warping of relations, you might say. And this had nothing to do with the case at hand. By which you mean you're not going to tell us. Which makes me wonder even more about this reason they couldn't refuse. Well, let's get on with the testimony for starters. The defendant, Zack Granary, stands accused. Tell us why. Oh, I'll do more than that. The way he walks, the red roses ring, right, singing hymns to a miracle that is magic. Fascinating. But I hardly need to remind you that the evidence could just as clearly point to you as the suspect. The letter, the murder weapon, and now the 2 bullets found at the scene. And every magician knows, timing is everything. Yes, and now it is time to get this party fired up. At night, I visited the hospital room at the time Magnifi requested. The smell of gunpowder hung in the room, and my mentor had taken his final bow. I did not imagine my fellow student might have received the same instructions. Yet a deal with the dead is still a deal. Death's sweet kiss I gave to a clown. I informed the doctor and the police. So you're the one who reported the crime? Indeed, I would think this fact alone would clear my name of suspicion. Let's not jump to any conclusions. Yes, the cross-examination generally comes before the conclusions in this court. But if your testimony proves to be true, then the defendant is guilty. If it wasn't Zach Grammy, then the killer was you, Valent. And no disappearing act will get you out of that. Which, according to the letter, was 11:20 p.m. Indeed. In magic, timing is everything. Right. Consider the illusions of teleportation. If I were to appear on stage before my stunt double is left, how would that look? I would have revealed the very secrets of my magic. Now that you've revealed your very secrets of your magic for all of us, let's move on. You went at the designated time, and what did you see? So, you weren't worried for your own safety. I mean, you smelled gunpowder, yes? Or if the shoes were still nearby. I did not consider this, to be honest. It's forbidden for a magician to have a good imagination. Really? Isn't magic all about illusions of imagination? How about this? You were the shooter, which is why you weren't afraid. Now you're the one imagining. It's forbidden for a lawyer to have a good imagination. The witness will refrain from pausing so suspiciously before responding. My forbidden imagination is starting to imagine things. Which brings us back to this reason neither of you could refuse. So it does, so my partner, he did not refuse. But Magnifi wrote the same thing to you. Why could you refuse if Zack couldn't? Because I have a will stronger, because I have a will of steel, of course. I also do this trick whenever I bend steel bars, so perhaps steel isn't pulled out strong. So which is it? Mind if I continue? Get on with it! There were 2 bullet holes at the scene, one in the victim and one in the clown. You're saying the one who shot the clown was you? No doubt my partner Zack has said much the same thing. Yeah, because whoever didn't shoot the clown committed murder. Let's dig around here a bit more and see what can turn up. Mr. Valent, let me ask about something else concerning the scene. Namely, the number of pistols. How many pistols were there when you entered the room? By which you mean what, precisely? 2 pistols were used in the Zack and Valent quick draw shooting, correct? One for each of you? You're well informed, yet only one of my old friends sat in the hospital room that night. Or did Zack tell me back in the lobby? I see no problem with that statement. Only 1 pistol is visible in the photograph of that crime scene after all. So you picked up that pistol and fired it. Indeed I did. Alakazam, alakazing, alakaboom. Is the number of pistols really so important? Is it? Ugh. Number of pistols is quite important, Your Honor.
Objection!
Yep. According to the defendant, Zach Dramery, when he entered the room, there were 2 pistols on that table. 2? One of the pistols he used to shoot the clown in the forehead. Then he left within his pocket. Of course, this is what he would say. Unlike the hapless clown, we must assume our defendant has some brains in his head. Well, what about what Mr. Valance told us? You see, there's something about his testimony that doesn't make sense. What might that be? I told you I took the pistol that was there and shot the clown. That's your story, at least. But the rifling marks tell a very different story, Mr. Valance. The Colonel Prosecutor Gavin told us. We compared the bullet taken from the victim's skull with a bullet fired from this gun. The rifling mark. Mr. Vaughn, if you fired this pistol, then you shot the victim in the forehead. Order! 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 Well, this is all rather sudden. What have I done? I owe the court an apology. Sorry. Sorry for what? You see, I was aware that for these unique pistols were pre-extracted. The analysis of the rifling marks only provided the type of gun that fired them.
Objection!
But that's not what you told us before. You said you'd verified the murder weapon. Which is why I'm apologizing to you now. Quite sincerely, I might add. Would you hold me accountable for a mistake made in my youth? That was just this morning. I am still young, and I might add, it wasn't really my fault. The defendant had only admitted he took one pistol from the scene of the crime. You would not be having this pleasant discussion now. Round, Gumby. Yes, Your Honor. You are presented to this court as a decisive witness, but you've proven to be more divisive than decisive.
Objection!
You'll see in time. The testimony so far has merely been a review of the facts. The proof comes next. Care to elaborate, Prosecutor Gavin? When Mr. Valance entered the hospital room, the victim had already been shot. As his next testimony will prove. Right, the real fight is about to begin. Bring it. Very well, the witness will now testify to court. Help us determine who shot what. I arrived in the hospital room at the appointed time, which is to say 11:20 p.m. To discuss in the body, I fulfilled my obligation in calling the doctor. The doctor examined the body before the police arrived. It was quite clear about the time of death, 11:10 p.m. And the one in the room at that time was my partner, not me. Those times are rather close, you have to admit. It's easy to explain the situation, Herr Judge. For example, take our debut hit single, 13-year... The debut single was only 2 minutes and 15 seconds long. What a rip-off. Not to mention that back then Gavin was full of himself. Very well, the prosecution warns us that we're dealing with rather precise times. carry on. Right. Falsified evidence.
Objection!
Nuh-uh.
Hold it!
Yeah, because one of them would have seen the other. Rude.
Hold it!
I don't think I'm stepping out on a limb to say I have some doubts about this. How could the doctor be so precise with the time? We do usually only get an estimated time of death, true. I'm sure I've heard of a verified time of death. Magic revels are making complex appear simple, but reality is the opposite. The heavy liquid functions for our purposes as an hourglass of sorts. This is how the doctor determined the time of death. And so it was when I entered in that room. 10 minutes has passed since that horrible crime was committed. And this is proof. Didn't that seem important? Well, seeing how it is the biggest clue out to the time of death, it's just very important. Agreed, it would be hard to imagine a more precise way to determine the time. Sometimes the most magical thing of all is the truth. Okay.
Hold it!
Nope. Nope.
Hold it!
I'm thrown in this Thailand too, and that trophy a bust. What a day that was. This is one trip that memory knows. Any faults? Looks more of a green. I'm afraid you've lost me. The crime scene tells all, Yona. The photo of the crime scene? At least Dork of Korra has been yearning for black and white, clear-cut simplicity. My pleasure. And I assure you it's quite simple. I can't promise anything in black and white. Val and Grammy, let's get one thing straight about your lucky colour. It's yellow, yes? Kind of takes the mystery out of it, but yes. What is this? What found my... It'd be hard to call the IV liquid yellow. And I'm afraid no magic was involved in taking this photograph. Order, order, order! What does this mean? This is some kind of mistake. Yes, Prosecutor Gavin, you witnessed a mistake. The greener they are, the higher they fall. Of course there's no substitute for experience. Val and Grammy, as you reminded us several times, your lucky colour is yellow. The IV is clearly not. Well, this contradiction can mean only one thing. And to think you almost had me. I see your true colours now, Ace Attorney Phoenix Knight. Something you'd like to tell us, Prosecutor Gavin? As far as the court can tell, the witness's testimony does contradict the evidence. Yes, contradiction. One that I shall be pleased to hand right back to Mr. Wright. Because the witness has made no mistakes. I agree at a glance the IV liquid does appear as a sort of green yellow. Yellow liquid? How can you say that? The bag? You mean the plastic bag on... Plastic bag on the hook? Looks like a... I want to say light blue. Precisely. Figured it out yet? I put the yellow liquid in a blue bag and... You get green. And this, incidentally, is the liquid sugar. I see. The explanation does have the ring of truth to it.
Objection!
As I thought, there's no substitute for experience, Prosecutor Gavin. What? You may tell a good tale, but you've just proven something rather grave for you guys. Grave? The liquid in the IV is yellow, yes? But how did this witness know that? It's quite unnatural when you think about it. You did think about it, didn't you? Your Honour, the defence requests an explanation from the witness. At the scene of the crime, the IV liquid appeared to be green. So let me ask, how did the witness know the IV liquid was actually yellow? Order! 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 Mr. Wright, you will explain this at once. The witness clearly knew the colour of the IV liquid. So I'm sure it means something. But what? I can think of only one possibility, Your Honour. The witness, Valant Gramry, has testified that the IV liquid was yellow because he'd seen it before. Suppose you would have had to, but I'm still unclear as to what all this means. Ask yourself, why would he know if he didn't work at hospital? That's where you'll find your meaning, isn't it? I'm afraid I find nothing, so what if he knew the IV liquid?
Objection!
The IV liquid is the only evidence of proving his time of death. 30-minute hourglass with 20 minutes worth of sand remaining. Your claim, Prosecutor Gavin. I remember it well. However, there's a critical difference between an hourglass and an IV bag. Wait, I know. An hourglass uses sand when an IV bag uses liquid. Right, right? As much as it pains me to say this, Your Honour, no. Unlike the sand for an hourglass, IV liquid enters the patient's body. At which point, like magic, it disappears. However, what if the amount of IV liquid had increased? You couldn't tell, could you? After all, there's no way of knowing what went in. Let me get this straight, however. You're saying the witness watered down the victim's IV bag? Not with water, but with IV liquid. That's how you knew the IV liquid was yellow. No, wait! I said wait! How might an amateur such as myself essay to perform such a task? An amateur too, that can pour water into a cup? I'm afraid there's quite a big difference between a cup and an IV bag. Quite. Can you prove our witness is capable of such a feat? You're an amateur at law. You don't have to be an expert to see the look on the witness's face. He added liquid to that IV to provoke the time of death. I die of these fairy tales lacking it. Valant Gramry, I'm afraid your magic won't serve you well in a life of crime. Might I ask what you're strongly suggesting? Magic relies on props, and props become evidence. Our witness was certainly able to increase the amount of IV liquid in the bag. All he had to do was work a little magic, and the prop was... The victim's syringe? It's a perfect prop for the magically increasing IV trick. Easy enough for an amateur to use. What kind of evidence is that? The syringe was clean, not a trace of liquid. And don't you find that odd, Prosecutor Gavin? The victim had the syringe to administer his insulin shots. There should have been traces of insulin left inside. Well, Valant Gramry, As you pointed out yourself, the IV liquid makes a perfect clock. One that you could manipulate at will. I do believe, well, with this being his first, that the burden of this trial has been a bit too much to bear for Prosecutor Gavin. I'm afraid not while there is a doubt as to the amount of IV liquid in that bag, the time of death cannot be proven. Well, maybe we can squeeze an extra day on this, and do a little much needed investigation work.
Objection!
Truly, there is no substitute for experience. Nothing blinds one to the truth so effectively. A word to the wise. Underestimate the young, and they'll sweep your feet out from under you. In a way you never ever expected, yeah? You'll see, I know exactly what you think. What's he talking about? You'll say the witness used the syringe to manipulate the level of the IV liquid, but there is no proof. There's no proof he didn't do it either. Yeah, it's quite true. Huh? He's admitting it. Nor was his weakness quite as decisive as I'd hoped. This I admit. After all, while lingering in the past means... You will have something in mind, Prosecutor Gavin? Proof her, Judge. I have another way to prove my case. With evidence. What's this? This is the victim Magnifique Grammarly's diary. Diary? After going into a hospital, Magnifique began writing his memoirs, it seems. The story of his birth, his startling debut, and of meeting his disciple. Seems he intended for the last chapter to end quite appropriately with his death. Wait, that book doesn't say what the reason was, does it? The reason why his disciples couldn't refuse his last request? Oh god, here it is. Read the very last part in particular. This journal may end here, it may go on, but not long. That depends on his hand. That would make sense, yes. He was the first scheduled visitor after all. But look at what he said before that. This journal may end here, it may go on. It may go on. Magnifique Grammarly intended to write again. That is, if Zach Grammarly didn't pull the trigger. This is the last page, the diary's here. Huh? What's this? Looks like pages are down. Oh no, isn't that interesting? Oh, would you look at that? The writing's different as well. Order! 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 Prosecutor Gavin, are you certain that Magnifique Grammarly wrote this? He's right about the diary being pretty clear. Still, I find that hard to believe. I'd overlook such an obvious problem with precious evidence. Well, Mr. Wright, the witness's testimony we heard was lacking. To put together this evidence, it seems quite sufficient for a case. The diary's accepted and this trial's over. Maybe it's time for me to show them something. I have no choice but to show my own evidence. What? You have some evidence that he returns this diary? Alright, I'd be happy to. With decisive evidence proving that the diary didn't end this page.
Take that!
First, take a close look at this diary. Note that page has clearly been ripped out. What's this? I hadn't noticed that at all. That's why we're still here talking about this. As it just happens, I have here what I believe to be the missing page. Ha! Alaka, I don't believe it! Looking at this page, I had to imagine that the first visitor that night shot Magnifique examining has to defend his position. Wait! Let me see that! What in Sam Hill? Yep. The Ryan's different, so... Why, this is a continuation of the victim's diary! Note the torn edge of the page. It's a perfect match with the torn remains of the last page in Magnifique's diary. Quite remarkable. Would you care to explain what all this means, Herr Attorney? The diary continued after his first visitor came, which means that the victim was still alive after Zach Grammy left, leaving no one to take his life but the second visitor, Valent Grammy. The handwriting too matches that on the other pages. No, it doesn't. Order, order, order! But wait, that's impossible! I thought man couldn't have written that. Finally, you just couldn't resist, could you, Herr Wright? Resist what? Presenting solid evidence? Herr Judge? Yes, Prosecutor Gavin, might I request we put the current cross-examination on hold? The prosecution would like to call a new witness. But, Prosecutor Gavin, this evidence overturns the current witnesses. I ask only to put it on hold. Please, my new witness has a very, very important piece of testimony to give. 5 minutes, no more. I promise. Your Honor. Well, if you put it that way, Mr. Wright, what's your take on this? Well, Your Honor, judging from his enthusiasm, we'll have to hear this new testimony sooner or later anyway, so it might as well be soon. I had a bad feeling just then. That ripped out page was too obvious. He must have known. I should have known it was a bad sign all around. Holding trial of no audience is the first, even for me, Prosecutor Gavin. I make the court's understanding. But I had to make a judiciary deal with the witnesses for that testimony. A judiciary deal? The details of his testimony may have some legal ramifications, shall we say. But it's best to contain the information to this room. Very well. And you're the witness, I gather? Oh, yes, sir. State your name and occupation for the record. My name's Joe Misham. I'm a painter. A painter? And you're somehow related to this case? No, well, not per se. I have one simple question for this witness. Mr. Misham, was it? Do you know what this is? Oh, yeah. I know it well. How's that possible? Have you seen this diary page somewhere before? Oh, yeah, I mean, I made it. You... What? You made it? Yes, you might call it one of my works. The prosecutor's office received a tip-off yesterday. Illegal evidence has been prepared for the trial of Zach Gramery. Illegal evidence? I initiated an investigation and found these weaknesses. A painter to the world at large, True Mission has another side, you might say. He is skilled at making perfect reproductions of certain things. Forgeries, of course. Forgeries? Well, so we are to understand that this page here is a fake prepared by a certain thing. Hold it. I didn't prepare this evidence. The attorney speaks something about his page, I presume? But what is he saying? Makes no sense. After all, it was you who presented this evidence to us. Phoenix, right? Witness? Mr. Mission, was it? You requested this forgery. Who was your client? That I don't know. What? Most of my clients prefer to remain anonymous, even to me. I make the item if they want, and then receive my payment. That's the extent of my
Objection!
But there's no proof this is a fake. It's a fake. Huh? To avoid just this sort of problem, I always put a special mark on my works. And say without a doubt, this is mine. Mr. Wright, you have just presented legal evidence to the court, my court. It was careless of me, that's all I can say. It was all a trap, a fatal trap. Mr. Wright? Yes? Do you have an explanation for yourself? If I did, would the court hear it? Probably not. Forging evidence is a serious crime, even though the prosecution has done that on numerous counts. I'm presenting it in court, a serious mistake, a fatal mistake for an attorney. Yet we still let Manfred von Karma and Edgeworth prosecute for God knows how long, but despite forging evidence. I don't know Edgeworth, but fatal too, perhaps for your client, I fear. Tell me, what kind of defendant relies on forged evidence? The answer is quite clear. A guilty one.
Objection!
Your Honor, wait. I understand that presenting forged evidence in court is a serious crime, but you cannot hold my client responsible for actions I undertook as an individual. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. Your Honor. Never close call, I guess. If the prosecutor's office hadn't received that hot tip, everything would have gone the way you wanted it to, yeah? I even gave you a chance. I'm so bad you decided not to finish by embarrassing yourself. I see no reason for further discussion on this matter. Special witness dismissed. Mr. Attorney? Yes? Could I ask your name? Phoenix Knight. Mr. Wright, I have seen and studied many people, but none like you. I remember you, Mr. Wright. And how I've ruined your life. Though I deeply regret having to declare a verdict in this way, this trial is over. You have the right to find a new attorney and make an appeal. However, this court must... Your Honor? Yes, Mr. Sachs, there is one thing I wish to make clear. Today, in this courtroom, you cannot declare me guilty. It is impossible. I'm afraid the defendant is quite mistaken. I most certainly do have the authority to declare a verdict on you. So tell me, how do you plan on announcing your verdict when your defendant doesn't exist? Doesn't exist? What are you talking about? I'm talking about this. Mr. Enigma! The defendants escaped. Find them quick. Bailiff, close all exits from the building. On the double, he must not be allowed to escape. That day, in that courtroom, defendant Shady Enigma, aka Zach Grammy, did not just escape from the court. They literally unbelievably vanished. Alexa, lamp on. No verdict was declared. After all, the defendant didn't exist. That's how it happened. The trial of magician Zach Grammy vanished along with him for eternity. The mysteries that remained behind were all solved, however, but not until 7 years later. Yes, continue on to the next chapter. That trial 7 years ago was the beginning of it all. This I know beyond a doubt. The mysteries of the past work their magic on the present. But you'll soon be finding out all of this. But you'll soon be finding all of this out for yourself. Which of Magnifi Grammy's disciples pulled the trigger? Where did vanishing defendant Zach Grammy go? What dark truth lurks behind the forged diary page? And what about the girl who was left behind? The past left us these 4 keys to unlocking the truth. But that's not all. There are 4 keys in the present as well, and when all the questions have found their answers, the final trial will begin. But first you must chase the truth then and now. Think of it as a game. I, Phoenix Wright, will be your guide through the game. That terrible trial saw me present forged evidence. It ended half finished when the defendant vanished. What became of me after that? As the investigation proceeds, the answer will become clear. Oh, and one more thing. There is something I must tell you. As Apollo Justice has his bracelet, so too do I have my own weapon source. My Magatama. What does it do, you ask? That whatever you see for yourself. Well now, shall we begin? Because right after my last trial came to an abrupt end, I'll let you know the game has played. The nightmare trial was over. And the new nightmare of figuring out what happened had just begun. I need to wake up to walk away. I figured I'm the only one who could do this. Probably, and besides, I have plenty of time, thanks to the Bar Association Review Board's decision. Start to work when your attorney's badge has been taken away. 2 weeks have passed. I called into my office. Juicy, there's something we need to talk about. It's been 2 weeks since your father disappeared. You need to start thinking about your future. I did some calling around. This is hard to say, but you have no living relatives. So, I was wondering if you wanted to stay with me for a while. Just until your daddy comes home. Won't be long. I hope. Of course, it's totally your choice. If you don't like it here, you can go wherever you like. Could look up some places you might like to stay at. This is so weird. Huh? Really? Huh? I guess so. Getting weirder. That was quick. Yes. Seriously, how old are you? Thanks. Why do I feel like she's already in charge? You could at least kind of look aside of something you say at. It's actually kind of hard. Hold that. Actually, that's... Well, that won't do, I guess. I just don't know much about anything other than law. Not much about law, if you were to ask some people. You mean like a talent agency? Forgive me for asking, but doesn't that require talent? A professional. Directly descended. He's your father. Thinking an 8-year-old just massaged my ego. So Juicy, you're a professional? They say that? Right. So in conclusion, you're a professional magician, Juicy. You're gonna do a magic trick? Actually, I would like to see your trick. Future of the agency depends on after all. Whoa, that was dumb. Your friendly neighborhood, Mr. What's your service? Send me some confession. Oh, my routines don't get a bit heady at times. Get it? Heady? My friendly neighborhood, Mr. Hat nearly gave me a heart attack. Could you tell me a bit more about your daddy, Zach Drummond? Who's done your that again? The grandmas. They're on television or not? Funny how it still says that despite the fact that this is happening before Zach's death. Haven't seen them on much recently, come to think of it. Let me guess, that's a giant fish in the winter. Yeah, I shouldn't play up so soon. Yeah, what about Mommy? I haven't heard anything about Tracy's mother. Oh, wonder if she'll talk about her mother. Could you tell me about your mummy, if it's okay? On stage. You mean with your daddy? Went away. Well, that's pretty clear. She got amnesia. This is your mother? Painful. Poor girl. Didn't know mummy got missing. And now her daddy's vanished too, right before her eyes. Don't worry, I won't vanish, I promise. Guess all I rate as is a backup plan. I think that's probably enough for today. Sorry to ask you so much all at once like that. But I think you need more than that to make an agency. Besides, you may be a magician, but I'm no talent. Well, when you put it in that way... Okay, I'll think of something. The team, right. Sometimes when magicians vanish, they leave something behind. That's how Trucy became Trucy Wright, my daughter. To be honest, I was pretty lost those first few days. Thinking back on it, it was a very dark time in my life. Trucy, happy, smiling Trucy, she was my heart. Yeah, of course. Defendant lobby number 2. Didn't think I'd be back here for a while. Don't want to have to remember that day. When I came on that fateful morning, I saw my badge, but now, like an amputated limb, I can still feel it itching. How do I start? I don't even have to go far to invest. Hey, you there, sir! Down on the hands, floors on your head! Now! What's the big idea? It is. No unauthorized personnel aren't allowed in here. But that would mean no unauthorized personnel allowed. Just say it like this, sir. I'm the usual one. Going out the precinct, lost my friends, my gun, even my wallet. You remember having me on a case 2 years ago? Wait, Rise from the Ashes was 2 years ago? No recollection of that, sir. About 9 years ago. Spent time on the current side. For me, working on a case is always in the present progressive tense, sir. There's no past, there's only now, sir. Okay, you're the bailiff, right? Yes, sir. Call bailiff Mike Meekins at your service, sir. Ask to meet with the bailiff at this court who let the magicians escape. Let me try to make this as absolutely clear as possible for you, sir. It's me, sir. But you're a regular police officer, right? And sometimes bad things happen to good people, sir. Something tells me it's a long story. That's not good. So you're in charge of security at the time of the vanishing? I'm dying over here! Oh, it's a hard knock life, sir. Gone out of the precinct, lost my friends, my gun, and even my wallet. Guess I wasn't the only victim.